Somebody in your house used to watch this show, and at some point they turned to you and said, "That's us." Maybe your mom pointed at Marie and laughed a little too hard. Maybe your dad just quietly was Frank. Maybe you were the Debra, holding the whole circus together while everybody else got the applause. Here's what gets me. 3 people from that living room are gone now. One of them was 19 years old. And the rest? Some of them ended up in places you'd never guess. Quick question before we start. Who was your Barone? The one your family quoted at Thanksgiving until somebody got annoyed. Drop that name in the comments. I read every single one. We'll start with the woman who held that house together, and the detail about her audition that changed everything. 200 actresses auditioned for Debra Barone. Every single one of them faked the kiss with Romano. During the screen test, Patricia Heaton walked in and actually kissed him. That's how she got the part. And honestly, that tells you everything about her. She was 38, not a kid. She'd been grinding in this industry for years with nothing close to a breakout. Then Debra happened. You remember her in that kitchen. Sleeves up, one kid on her hip, yelling something reasonable that nobody listened to. That scene in the finale, where she tells Ray she's scared to live without the fighting. I still think about that. After Raymond, she did another 9 seasons on The Middle, 2 Emmys, a star on the Walk of Fame. Today, at 68, she's developing a new comedy for Fox out of Nashville. 20 years of playing exhausted mothers, and somehow, she's the one who never stopped. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been the second kid? The one who did everything right, but still got overlooked because your sibling just took up more space? Then you already know Robert Barone. Brad Garrett was 6 feet tall at 13. Think about that for a second. 13 years old, towering over every teacher, every classmate. He learned early that if people are going to stare, you might as well make them laugh. He won 3 Emmys for Robert. 3! And behind the scenes, he was the one who broke everyone between takes. That deep voice just rumbling through some offhand comment while the crew lost it. Here's where he is now. 66. Owns his own comedy club at the MGM Grand in Vegas. Still headlines. Last year, he voiced the villain in Pixar's Elio. After decades of playing lovable sidekicks, he finally got to be the bad guy. The kid who felt invisible built a stage where everybody has to look up at him. Every loud family needs the one person who just absorbs it. Amy McDougall was that person. She didn't compete with Marie. She didn't match Debra's fire. She just showed up, stayed kind, and survived. If you've ever married into a family louder than yours, you felt her. Here's the part most fans miss. Monica Horan was married to Phil Rosenthal, the creator of the show. Their actual arguments ended up in Ray and Debra's scripts, sometimes almost word for word. Real marriage, real comedy. Today, at 63, she shows up on Phil's Netflix series, Somebody Feed Phil, traveling and eating around the world. The Baroness never stopped gathering around food. Neither did the Rosenthals. We've got 5 more faces from that living room, including the little girl who grew up on camera. And where she is now genuinely surprised me. But first, somebody you need to meet again. Holy crap. That's it. 2 words. Peter Boyle would walk to the fridge, grab something he didn't ask permission for, and drop 2 words that destroyed the room. Frank Barone never learned how to say, "I love you." But he'd make you a grilled cheese at midnight, and somehow that said more. Remember that episode where he dances with Marie at the lodge? No punchline. No setup. Just 2 people who'd been married forever swaying. That was Boyle. He could break your heart without changing his expression. Before Raymond, he'd already made history. 1974. He tap-danced as the monster in Young Frankenstein. And this detail still gets me. John Lennon was the best man at his wedding. Boyle met journalist Lorraine Alterman on the set of that film. Through her connection with Yoko Ono, he and Lennon became close friends. Boyle was 60 when Raymond started. He left us in 2006 at 71. I'll say more about him before we close. But every time you catch a rerun, there he is. Same recliner, same remote, not going anywhere. Madylin Sweeten is 34 now. She's a designer in Los Angeles. Last year, she and her husband, Sean Dury, had a baby boy named River. She brought him to the reunion taping. Same living room set, same couch. A brand new kid sitting where she used to sit. She was 5 when she got the part. 5. One small TV credit. A kid from Texas who walked onto a soundstage and never looked out of place. Her real brothers, Sawyer and Sullivan, played her on-screen brothers. That wasn't a casting decision. That was just a family showing up together. 206 out of 210 episodes. She was in nearly every single one. And that thing she did, that quiet look Allie would give when Ray and Debra were fighting, like she understood more than any kid should. That wasn't acting direction. That was a child growing up on camera and taking it all in. Some child actors disappear. Madylin built a life. She designs real homes now. There's something right about that. If any of this is landing with you, do me a favor. Hit subscribe. Not for the algorithm, because there are more families like this one coming, and I don't want you to miss them. Nobody knocked. That was the whole joke. Marie Barone just walked in, rearranged your furniture, told you your chicken was dry, made you feel guilty for being upset about it. And somehow, by the end of the episode, you understood. That impossible woman loved her family more than anyone in the house. There has never been a mother like Marie on television. Not before her, not since. Doris Roberts was 70 when the show started. She'd spent 20 years on Broadway, studied under Strasberg and Meisner, beat out 100 actresses for Marie, and then appeared in every single episode, all 210. 5 Emmys. But here's the moment I keep coming back to. 2002. She was 76. She stood before the United States Congress and testified about age discrimination in Hollywood. She told them older actors deserve to be seen, not just used as a punchline. The room went quiet, and they listened. She left us in 2016 at 90. More on her in a moment. But right now, somewhere on some channel, Marie is walking into that kitchen. She didn't knock. She never did. One more. The one who started all of this. The guy who did 5 minutes on a stage and accidentally built a decade. 1995. A stand-up from Queens walks onto The Late Show with David Letterman's stage. 5 minutes about marriage, kids, arguing over nothing. Letterman laughed so hard, he told his production company, "Build this guy a show." That's it. That's how Everybody Loves Raymond happened. 5 minutes and a microphone. Raymond Barone wasn't the hero. Wasn't the smartest person in the room. Wasn't even the funniest. And he'd be the first to admit Marie stole most of his scenes. He was just a guy trying to keep everyone happy and failing every single week. That was the whole show. And millions of people saw themselves in it. You know what I think made him work? He never fixed anything. Sitcom dads are supposed to learn a lesson, hug somebody, and wrap it up in 22 minutes. Ray just made things worse. Then he'd sit on the couch looking confused. And somehow, that was more honest than any speech. Romano was 38 then, 68 now. He directed his first film, Somewhere in Queens, played Bill Bufalino for Scorsese in The Irishman. Still tours stand-up in small theaters, telling stories about getting older, about his grandkid, about learning to say yes to things that scare him. Earlier this year, he made his Broadway debut in a comedy showcase called All Out. And last November, he walked back onto a rebuilt Barone living room. The 30th anniversary reunion on CBS. 6 million people watched. 30 years ago, 5 minutes. 1 microphone. Look where it went. Before we close, there are 3 chairs at that table that stay empty, and they deserve more than a passing mention. Peter Boyle came to Frank Barone with a lifetime behind him. Broadway, Young Frankenstein, a friendship with John Lennon that most people don't even know about. He brought all of that weight and turned it into a guy who communicated love through insults and midnight sandwiches. Remember when he finally tells Ray he's proud of him and immediately changes the subject? That was Boyle. He could crack you open in half a second and close it right back up. He left us in 2006 at 71. Every rerun, he's still in that chair. I don't think he'd want to be anywhere else. Sawyer Sweeten was 16 months old when he first appeared on screen. 16 months. He and his twin Sullivan played Geoffrey and Michael, the youngest Baroness. They never had big lines. They didn't need them. They were the kids in the background, the ones climbing on Frank's chair or tugging at Debra's sleeve while the adults argued about nothing. His sister Madylin once said Sawyer was the funniest one in the family. Off camera, always making people laugh. He left us in 2015. He was 19. The cast still says his name the way you say the name of someone you loved and didn't get to love long enough. Doris Roberts was the standard. Every meddling, impossible, ferociously loving TV mother since Marie Barone has been measured against her. And none of them have caught her. She fought for older actors in Congress. She cooked on that set like the food actually mattered. She made you furious and then made you miss your own mom in the same scene. She left us in 2016 at 90, peacefully at home. But Marie never left that kitchen. She's still there, and she still didn't knock. 9 seasons, 1 street, 2 houses, a family that never once figured it out. They just kept showing up, kept arguing, kept sitting at that table even when nobody wanted to. Maybe that's the whole point. Not the Emmys, not the millions of viewers, just the showing up. That jazzy piano is playing somewhere right now. Marie is walking in. Frank is in his chair, and somewhere a 5-year-old girl is sitting on that couch, watching. She's 34 now. She has a son. And last November, she brought him to sit on the same couch. When you think of the Baroness, who do you see first? Not the character, the person you were sitting next to when you watched. I'd love to read that in the comments. More families like this one are coming. More living rooms. More Monday nights. Until then, hold on to that feeling. Nobody's taking it from you.